Okay, let's move on to look at the second topic, which is about modern law and politics. Now, if you look at this area, we are going to look at four areas, sub areas, which would be legal and political system. We have to understand the link between law and the political system. Secondly, we are going to look at law with the political culture and obligation that they have. And then we will be looking at legal and political socialization, how the society is being formed in that particular political setup, and how law is being impacted when we have political change. However, we are going to look at the first one, which is law and political system, i.e., to establish the link between law and a given political system in the world. If you look at the political system that we have to ask the question first by defining the process of making official government decision. If you're looking at political system, is how to understand the official person in the government making their decision. uh, Different political system have different government officers or people who are in power in order for them to make decision. So the question is, what is government, right? uh, Government is based on the system that you apply. Okay, if you were to have a government type A, then definitely you have a political system or government system of type A, which is different from type B. They are different from one another. Maybe there are similarities, but we're gonna point out the differences between them in order to differentiate between one system with another. Next question is that in what kind of system that the official government decision being made? Okay, that is where we have to identify what way that the decision being made if we establish the political system, i.e., look at what the society setting that they are in. Therefore, we are able to establish or understand how political system works in that particular system that we are studying. So basically, what we are inquiring is about who holds the power. It depends on the society that they hold the power, right? And they means the person that is holding power. That is our investigation actually, to understand the nature of the scope of the society. And from the scope of the society, we have to understand who is in power and how do they deliver their or translate their power into political control. And how they do that, then we will be able to understand how law is being applied in order for them to control that society. So in order to look at the uh, political system that we are reviewing, right? Here we are looking at modern law and politics, yeah. And the law relationship with political system. The first one, we are going to look at band society. Band society is a small group of people knowing nomadic society. This might be non-existent right now, but we do have certain situation still prevailing in our current today's world in certain areas. And say for example in Indonesia, yeah, in Indian Ocean, we have what they call it, the Aleutians Islands. Yeah, they they don't want to be related to the technologies or anyone else, but only themselves. Yeah, they want to be secluded. You can go online and check them out, and you see quite interesting situation of how they run their what they call it, the society. Yeah, it is a very small society, comprises of 30 to 50 individuals normally. So if it is considered as band society. Who will be in power? That is where sociologists is very much interested in order to understand how do they uh, form, yeah, or to strengthen the band, yeah, that they had. Normally, it is just a extension of family members. Yeah, so it started with a couple and then extended to the offspring getting married, things like that. The family expanded, but not that big. Yeah, so in this situation, we have to understand how it works. If you look at how a band works, studies has been made, you start to realize that the band is actually based on a mutual understanding. Okay, where each one of them is not a leader or at the same time as a leader themselves. If elderly people, they form need of understanding, whereby they're power sharing. Yeah, just like we can see in Rumah Panjang, right? In Sabah or Sarawak. So it is a combination of power, and they hold the family together is by such understanding that each one of them have to play their role in order for the band to be united. So law is very less application. We don't need law there in order for them to maintain stability, because every one of them is working together. It is a communal nature, yeah, of law. Um, Next, we will be looking at tribal society, tribe society, tribal society. It is larger, obviously, and comprising of many families, more than obviously than 50. And the tribe, they have like more social institution. They establish belief, the cultural methods of relationship, and then they establish on top of that, in order to control the tribe, the tribal society. They have a chief, or we have elders, in order for them to uh, ask for advice, opinions, and so on. We have seen movies, yeah, when the movie is reflecting tribal uh, makeup, and then you will be able to see the role of the chief and the elders. They are more permanent than bands, obviously, right? They are more united, they are stronger, and they can go out and fight others, yeah, in order to protect their institution, that they have established, way of life, things like that. So if you look at towards orang asli, our orang asli, you will see the differences, between tribe, one from one tribe to another. You will see some differences, and these differences reflects how they see themselves. And in this particular setup, the political system, as you can see, because the question that we want to ask is about who is in power. So we have to look at the chief and elders, yeah. And if elders, normally it is not binding, but chief is the binding force, yeah. But even binding force, still the society is able to, what they call it, discuss, and come up with a certain understanding. Yeah, and many tribes were subdivided into bands. So we can see we can more or less see that it's a combination of all bands, between several bands, and making it as tribe. So what is the law here? The law is more or less helping one another, similar to those of the band, but they are more structured. Yeah, they are able to form contingencies in terms of defense, in terms of the area, yeah, in terms of the culture and so on. So law here plays a greater role in in establishing the tribe society. Next, we look at the chiefdom. Yeah, if you look at chiefdom, it is larger from band and tribe, obviously, and the one thing that come across my mind in order to give you one example, good example is the Game of Thrones, whereby the power is centered to a single lineage, meaning family. Yeah, so this can translate into what we call houses. Yeah, then if you look at Game of Thrones, then you realize they are houses that they try to establish. Yeah, it's a fight between houses, but obviously the definition of the space, the territory is larger, and then obviously a stage like a hierarchy comprises of several tiers, meaning uh, we have the as far as the management of the what they call it the chiefdom, we have between there are several steps, yeah, of people who are in power. So this also comprises of several villages under paramount chief. So basically you have subordinate, subordinate person who are also in power, but they are not as powerful as the paramount chief. But even though we have this paramount chief, the chief is behaving, yeah, more or less like what we saw in the tribe, yeah, because the law that is applied is based on cultural, it is based on established idea that they have established over the period of time. Okay, so the chief is just to prolong whatever relationship, whatever practices, whatever tradition that they have established. Next, we'll be looking at empires. Yeah, obviously, this is a very large location of land or even waters. As you can see from the picture that I have put there, the Roman Empire is very huge. Yeah? It goes to even what you can see there is even Saudi Arabia, yeah, so the north part of Saudi Arabia, we have Egypt, we have Tunisia, we have Spain, we have England, you know, and most of the European countries, yeah. And here there will be control. Yeah? The person that is in control, who has the power, will be one single ruler, and that single ruler is able to establish the political system by dictating, by giving commands to all that he appointed to be in power, to be his representative in the system. So the law that is being applied will be a law that is more common, that is more unique, yeah, where it is being used by virtue of one language, and the language is prevailing towards to the throughout, yeah, prevailing throughout the whole empire. So, application of the law, obviously, here the law is more significant. It is more outstanding, yeah, in terms of the application of force in order for the power to be in control. Yeah, for the person to be in control. Obviously, we have a very large area. Therefore, definitely, the law is going to be more technical, more elaborative, yeah. And if you are able to go into history, then you discover that our contract law that we apply today have its origin from the Roman Empire. Yeah, because that is the first method of relationship of communication or transaction between the citizen and the member of the what they call it, the Roman what they call it, the Roman people. So that is the system that they apply, and therefore the type of law is also different. Next is sovereign state. Obviously, if you look at sovereign state, definitely you see example like we in Malaysia, it is a defined territory, yeah, with our population that is permanent in nature. We don't go anywhere else, yeah, but we stay here because we want to enter the domain of diplomatic relation. Yeah, we as Malaysia, I'm talking, we wanted to establish the relationship of the diplomacy with other sovereign state. Um, in order for us to establish the sovereignty, we have to make sure that we have our set of law. Yeah. So if we don't have a set of law established, then we are not recognized. Yeah. Once we are not recognized, obviously people will not respect. If people don't respect you, and then obviously you cannot have certain rights of claim, and obviously other people would take over the country. Yeah. So in this situation, we have seen several countries that is in turmoil, where other people are attacking them because they could not establish a proper system of governance. And system of governance is very important, because if people who are not in power able to control the power, definitely they are considered, the whole nation are considered as weak, and the ability of others to penetrate and influence the country, and you can have a puppet government, yeah, that is must be, you know being dictated by other people. And then we have supranational political system. Here I have given an example of European nation, whereby they are a group of nation joining force to achieve a common goal, yeah, or to gain strength by forming such alliances. So this is the system that they want to achieve in order for them to stand together, being countries, yeah, to be able to strengthen their economic standing. Uh, Obviously, if you want that as your outcome, obviously the law also have to change, where every countries have to like surrender their more or less sovereignty, yeah, in order for them to maintain the strength, in order for them to stand together as one. So this is the nature of the political system, and obviously the law that is applied is also different, yeah, based on the political system that they establish. So basically what we can see here, that from the nature of the political system that is being formed, we would see the relationship between law and political system, because when the political system change, obviously the law that is being applied also change, because the role of the person who is in power is changing. Yeah, like for example, the European Union, you cannot have one person that is controlling the country, such as in the situation of our sovereign state, right? So we don't have actually a person. We have the separation of powers system that we apply. So the same thing for European Union. They have a parliament in order for them to be able to maneuver the group of nations. Okay, so what we are going to discuss later in our tutorial perhaps is the ability for us to identify what type of law that is being applied for each one of them. Then we can compare and contrast, inshallah. Yeah. So we will continue after this. Thank you.